Okay, well, let's do that base then.
If a woman said, receive my get for me, she needs two pairs of witnesses, two who say she said so in our presence, and two who's two, he received it in our presence and he tore it up, even if the first witnesses are the same ones as the second witnesses, or if one is from the first and the other from the second, and another joined with each of them. If a nahar
By the way, did you chap, by the way, that this is in a situation where they, it's in a time of religious persecution, when it was possibly punishable by death to have any kind of religious document, including a get. So she over here has to take care to destroy her get, but she still has to receive it first. So that's why it has to be destroyed in front of witnesses.
That's right. Okay, so if a nahara is betrothed, she or her father can receive her get. Rabbi Yehuda said 2 hands cannot make acquisitions as one. Rather, her father alone receives her get. That anyone who is unable to take care of her get cannot be divorced. If a minor girl said, receive my get from me, it is not a get until it reaches her hand. Therefore, if the husband wants to retract, he can retract, because a minor cannot appoint an agent. But if her father said to him, go receive my daughter's get for her, if he wants to retract, he cannot retract. If one says, give this get to my wife in such and such a place, and he gave it to her in a different place, it's void. If he said she is in such and such a place and he gave it to her in a different place, it's valid.
Right. So the difference here being that is it a hakpada that he specifically wants the action to take place in a certain town, or so that it should be publicized in that town, or is it just that he's giving him an eitzah? I think she's in this town. Go and find her over there. So that's the difference between the two.
If a woman said, receive my get from me in such and such a place, and he received it for her in a different place, it's void. If Eliezer validates it, if she said, bring my get from such and such a place, and he brought it to her from a different place, it's valid.
Now remember Rabbi Eliezer says that since the woman can be divorced against her will, she has no say. She can't say that to the shaliach it has to be received in such a place, because if her husband wants, he can just give her the get, and even if she refuses to receive it, right? So Rabbi Eliezer says she can't invalidate it like this. Whereas the Chachamim say that no, it makes a difference to whether or not he's a shaliach, because she can set him up as a shaliach and say, you're only my shaliach as long as you're doing it for me according to my word.
Okay.
So that's the machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer, and we're going to see the same machlokas play out in Mishna Daled.
Okay. If a woman said, bring me my get, she may eat truma until the get reaches her hand. If she said, receive my get from me, she is forbidden to eat truma immediately. If she said, receive my get from me in such and such a place, she may eat truma until the get reaches that place. Eliezer prohibits it immediately. So is it the second one says, receive my get from me?
The same machlokas, because the Chachamim say that she has the power to say that you must receive my get from me in such and such a place. So therefore, if she's married to a Kohen, she's allowed to continue eating truma until she judges the earliest possible time where the shaliach and the get could reach the place where she's supposed to receive it. So she can assume that she's still married up until that point. Whereas Rabbi Eliezer says no, she does not have the ability to stop her shaliach receiving it in a different place, and therefore it's possible that the get is going to come, like the shaliach is going to step out the door, and right away the get is going to be outside, and it's going to say, yeah, here's the get. Oh, great, save me some time and trouble. And meanwhile, she's sitting inside and eating truma when she's already divorced.
Right. Okay.
All right. Mishna Hey. Hi Omer Kisvu get Ursnula Ishti. So a man says, write this get and give it to my wife, please. Okay, it says this in front of two people. Okay, and Garashuha, or he says, divorce her, please. Or says, Kisvu Igeres Usunula, give her a letter and write her a letter and give it to her. Hooray, Elu yichtavu v'yitnu. So these guys that he's spoken to, he's made them as shlichim. They must between them manage to write the get and hand it over to his wife. However, if he uses a more ambiguous language like pitruha, dismiss her, that could mean dismiss her from her debts, or paranasuha, give her panasa. Okay, that could just mean sustain her, not just like give her. Paranasuha could also mean divorce her, but give her her kasuba basically. Asu la kanimus. Yeah, you're talking sort of mafia. Talk mafia. Deal with her. Deal with her appropriately. Okay, what does deal with her appropriately mean? Anyway, asula, or do with her as is worthy. Yeah. Okay. Lo amar. It's an ambiguous statement like this is not enough to make a shaliach to divorce his wife, because it could mean plenty of other things.
When they say like write a letter and give it to her, is he talking about write a letter and tell her in the letter we're divorced or we're getting divorced? Or
this is talking about because igeres is actually the wording that's used in the Torah for a get.
Because I was going to ask, because I know the specific lashon for a get. So just to write a letter and say, by the way, your husband's divorcing you.
No, it's got to be it's got to be a kosher get.
Right. Okay.
Barishana hayomrim hayotze bekolar the amar kisu get lishti hare elu yichtavul v'yitnu. So originally, what they said the halacha was that if somebody is being taken out in chains, which means that he's probably being captured by the goyim, they might be about to execute him, and he is already in a state of mind that is agitated. So he says, write a get for my wife. Okay, but he failed to say hand it over. He just said write it. So what do we say? We interpret it, hare elu yichtabu v'yitnu. Let them write out the get and give it to her.
Because it says write a get and give it.
Right, because he didn't say give it, but we assess that because he was in an agitated state of mind, that he's concerned for his wife's welfare. He didn't want her to be an aguna. He didn't want her to fall for yibum. Another reason why he might divorce her. So therefore, he really meant that give it over, but he just forgot to say it because he was agitated. Chazru Lamar. Furthermore, they added on to this halacha. Afa mefarish v'hayotze b'shiara. Even if somebody is going out in a not in sort of a life-threatening circumstance, but he's going to battle.
It says here he's going out to sea, or going out to sea, or going and leaves in a caravan.
Or in a caravan, yes. After Mafarish, right? Mafarish is going out to sea. The Yotze B'Shiara, somebody's going out in a caravan, right? In all these cases, he's preoccupied with his travel, and he forgot to say these things. Therefore, you're allowed to give the get over. Rabbi Shimon Shazuri Yomer Afa Mesukan, and Rabbi Shimon Shazuri adds to these cases that also somebody who is sick and says write a get for my wife. He also means to give it over because for whatever reason he's concerned that he might die, and he doesn't want his wife to be a widow for whatever reason, maybe because of yibum. Right. So therefore, it should be given over to her. Okay. Mi shehaya mushlach labor. Now, if somebody was thrown into a pit, the ancient version of a prison, the Amar kol hashameya es kolo yichtov get leishto, and he's yelling out, please, if anyone can hear me, please write a get for my wife. Somebody hears him. He says, okay, hare elu yichtavu v'yitnu. They must write it and hand it over, even though he didn't say give it. He just said write it. Okay, habari, but if you have a healthy person, it says, if a healthy person just says, write a get for my wife, but we cannot make any such assumption about him, because maybe he's just doing it to taunt his wife. Maybe he's just making it as a threat that if you don't behave, I'm going to give this to you. Okay, so there the shlichim are only shlichim to write the get, not to hand it over. So there was a certain healthy man who said write a get for my wife. He didn't say anything else, just said write. He didn't say hand it over. What happened next? He climbed to the top of the roof, but nafal v'meit, and he fell off the roof and died. So now what's going on? Was this a premeditated suicide that he wanted to divorce his wife before he died? Or was this an accident? And that's exactly what Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says. Amru Chachamim. So the Chachamim said in such a case, Im me'atzmo nafal, if he threw himself off the roof, right? This was a suicide. Hooray, is there a get? Then yes, it's a valid get, because he knew he was going to die, and it's like all those other cases where he was Masukan or whatever, and he was agitated and he just forgot to say hand it over. Im haruach techatu eno get. But if the wind blew him off, if it was a complete accident, then it's not a get, and we just assume that he was an Islam healthy guy who wrote a get because he wanted to have leverage over his wife.
I don't remember all the dynamics of it. I don't remember what is the difference for her if he fell on his own and it's a get, or the wind pushed him and it's not a get. What matters?
The difference is she a widow or is she a divorcee?
Mm-hmm.
If she and the kulas and chumras on both. If she's a divorcee, then there's no yibum. So let's say they didn't have children, then she's not liable to yibum from the brothers. Okay. On the other hand, if she's a divorcee, she's not allowed to marry a kohen. Okay. So those are just two simple things that make a difference to her. I'm not sure what other halachas would apply. Either way, she receives the kasuba. Okay, so okay. I think the biggest deal is that also if she's a divorcee, then obviously if he's going traveling, then and he disappears, then there's no question of aguna. That's another reason why he might divorce her, so that she shouldn't become an aguna if he fails to return.
What? He fell off and died. Okay, and the get was not written yet, or the get maybe was written.
It had been written, and we must also assume that it had been given to her, because otherwise, having written the get doesn't help much. It must have been a situation where they had given the get to her already, and now that were they actually authorized to after the fact they see that he had fallen off the roof.
Right.
So that's actually, I don't remember seeing that actually in the commentary, but it seems much better. Yes, he actually does say, sorry, Kahati does make the point that after they wrote the get and gave it to his wife, he fell off the roof and died. That's the situation, is that I guess they didn't ask the Shaila, because if they had asked the Shaila at the time that they were handing the wife her get, the Chazal would have said, no, what are you giving her the get for? He's a healthy guy. Why are you giving her a get? So it must have been they didn't ask the Shaila. They went and gave her the get. And now he falls off the roof, and now I want to say, oh, wait, well, maybe that was the right thing to do.
Okay. And if she pushed him? If she pushed him? How does that work?
Yeah. If she pushed him, probably it's not a get, because that's that would not work. Okay.
Okay. Zion.
Amar l'shnayim. So now we're going to see the difference between appointing a shlichim and appointing a beis din. A man said to two people, "Tanu get leishti." He says to them, "Give a get to my wife." He doesn't say anything about writing. Okay, he just says, "Give a get to my wife," to two people. Or l'shlosha, he says he finds three people, and it says, "Kisvu get usnu leishti." Write a get and give it to my wife. So this is three people, could be like a beis din. So says the Tanna Kama, "Hare elu yichtavu v'yitnu." In each of these cases, the shlichim must write a get and give it to him, and they cannot delegate it. Right? He asked them to be a shlichim. He didn't want anyone else to be a shaliach. And even though you've got three people in the second case, and you could say, okay, maybe this is just a beis din where he's appointing a beis din to do it according to the way they said. No, what this is coming to tell us is that these three men are being asked specifically to write a get. So one of them can write it, and two of them can be the witnesses on it, and that's it. Okay. Amar lishlosha. However, if he says to three people, "Tanu get leishti," if he just says to them, "Give a get to my wife," they are empowered now to ask anyone else to write it, because all he said to them was, "Give a get to my wife." He didn't say to them, "Write it." Mashma, he doesn't really care who's writing it, and they're based in, so they're entitled to appoint somebody else to write it. Asan based in Divrei Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir says that this is that in such a case he has made them based in, and therefore they can appoint somebody else to write it. And this halacha, Rabbi Chanina from Ono came out of jail. I think it must have been with Rabbi Akiva. Is that right? He came out of the jail, in the name of Rabbi Akiva, when Rabbi Akiva was being held in jail, and he said, "This is the halacha." Right? The following is the halacha. He says, I have received from Rabbi Akiva that if somebody says to three people, "Tanu get l'ishti," sheyomru le'acherim v'yichtavu mipnei she'asan based in. Right, because that's so it's strengthening the words of Rabbi Meir above that once he's made them a based in, they can delegate the writing to somebody else. Amar Rabbi Yossi, numeini l'shaleach. He said, I said to the shaliach, says Rabbi Yossi, Af anu mekubalin. I also have a Masorah. She'afilu amar lebeis din hagadol she'b'Yerushalayim. Even if he went to the Sanhedrin in Yerushalayim and said to them, "Tanu get leishti," and he says, give a get to my wife. She'yilmadu v'yichtavu v'yitanu. So let's say they're new guys who recently be appointed to the Sanhedrin, and they haven't even learned how to write a get yet. They should go and learn the halachas themselves, and they have to write it and they have to give it. Because he asked them specifically, he didn't give them the authority to appoint anyone else. So Rabbi Yossi is disagreeing with Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Chanina, who's bringing the Masorah from Rabbi Akiva, saying no. Even if he's saying this in front of based in, they do not have the authority to appoint anyone else, because we should assume that he wanted them specifically to do it. Amar la'asara. If he says to 10 people, "Kisvu get leishti," write a get for my wife, echad kosev v'shnayim chosmin. Okay, then so he says it to 10 people, just write a get for my wife. So one person can be the software and write the whole thing, and 2 out of the 10 can be the signatories. Okay, kulchem kisvu. But if he says to them, "All of you, please write it," echad kosev kulam kosmin. Then one of them must write it, because you can't have more than one person writing, practically speaking. But he wants the rest of them all to be signatories. So you can have more than 2 edim on a shtar, so that you only need. So he says. So he specifically wants that all of them should be edim on the shtar. Therefore, if one of them died in the interim, hooray, they get batal. Then the get is going to be no good, because he specifically wanted the get with 10 signatures on it. Okay, you only needed 2, and we got 9, but one of the ones that he wanted is not there, and therefore they're not his shlichim anymore. They couldn't fulfill his words, and therefore the get is batal.
What happens? He has to have a new one written then.
He has to get a new one. He has to get a new get.
One.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Gimel Zion. One who lends money to a Kohen, a Levi, or a poor person on the condition to separate from their portions in its stead, they separate in its stead on the assumption that they are alive, and he need not be concerned the Kohen or Levi may have died, or the poor man may become wealthy. If they died, he must obtain permission from his heirs, and if he lent them before the court, he need not obtain permission from the heirs. One who put aside produce to separate truma and tithe with them, or money to separate the second tithe with them, may separate with them on the assumption of an existence. If they were lost, he must be cautious regarding a period of 24 hours. These are the words of Elazar and Shammai. Reb Yehuda says at 3 points in time the wine must be examined: at the time of the east wind, which is after the festival, with the emergence of the budding berries, and at the time the liquid enters its ripe grapes. I skipped something. I'm sorry.
No,
I skipped it.
at the time of the Smadar and the
No,
time.
I skipped the line. It said, if they died, he must obtain permission from the heirs. If he lent them before the court, he need not obtain permission from the heirs.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's head. One who puts aside produce to separate tumor and tithes with them and money to separate the second tithe with them, they separate them on the assumption that they are still in existence. If they were lost, he must be cautious regarding a period of 24 hours. These are the words of Reb Elazar ben Shamo. Yehuda says, at 3 points in time, the wine must be examined: at the time of the east wind, which is after the festival, with the emergence of the budding berries, at the time the liquid enters the unripe grapes. If one sent a get to his wife and encountered the agent or sent an agent after him, and he said to him, the get that I gave you is void, it is void. If he reached his wife first and sent an agent to her, and he said to her, the get that I sent you is void, it is void. If the above occurred after she received the get, he can no longer nullify it. Okay.
Nazir, test base.
Nazir. And we are tet base. A Nazir who shaved, and then it became known to him that he was Tomei, if it was due to a known tumor, he forfeits. If it was due to a tumor of the depths, he does not forfeit. If he had not yet shaved when it became known to him, then regardless of which tumor it was, he forfeits. How so? If he descended into a cave to immerse himself, and a corpse was found floating at the mouth of the cave, he is Tomei. It was found sucking in the floor of the cave. If he had gone down to cool himself, he is Tahor. To purify himself from tumor of the dead, he is Tomei. Because someone Tomei is presumed to remain Tomei, while someone Tahor is presumed to remain Tahor, for the matter is indicated. Someone who finds a corpse for the first time lying in its usual manner may remove it along with the surrounding earth. If he found 2 corpses, he may remove them along with the surrounding earth. If he found 3 corpses, if the distance between this one and that one is 4 to 8 cubits, it is a graveyard zone. He must search from there outward a distance of 20 cubits. And if he found one at the end of 20 cubits, he searches there from outward a distance of 20 cubits. For the matter is indicated, although he had found it at first, he would have removed it together with the surrounding earth. And any doubt concerning the afflictions of Tsras at the outset is Tahor, as long as it has not been confirmed to be Tameh. Once it has been confirmed to be Tameh, a doubt is ruled to be Tameh. Okay. Okay. Put this in here. Okay.
We haven't finished that. That Mishnah is not finished yet.
I didn't finish it?
No, you already stopped in the middle of the Mishnah. The dart is Tameh, and then it says in 7 ways we check the speak them and the Zag.
Any doubt concerning the afflictions of Tsras? Once it has been confirmed to be Tameh, a doubt is ruled to be Tameh.
Right, carry on.
All right, the next one is Dalit.
It's not
a Zav is, it's not, well, I don't have any more. That's it.
No, is your Mishnah broken up differently? That's interesting. Okay,
oh no, you're right. I'm sorry.
So in 7 ways you check the Zav. Yeah, carry on.
Zav is checked in 7 ways as long as he has not been confirmed to be Tameh from Siva, concerning food, drink, carrying a load, jumping, illness, a sight, and thought. Once he has been confirmed to be Tameh from Ziva, we do not examine him. His mishap or doubt because of his seminal discharge or Tameh, since the matter is indicated. If someone struck his fellow and they assessed that he would die, but from his condition improved from what had been, after that it worsened and then he died, the attacker is liable. The Nehemiah says he is exempt, for the matter is indicated.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about
Vamos.
Okay. All right.
Vamos test Vav Hey.
Okay. Test Hey. Yes?
Test Vav Hey, yeah.
Vamos. If one wife said he died and one said he did not die, the one who said he died may marry and collect a ketubah, while the other one who said he did not die may not marry or collect a ketubah. If one said he died and one said he was killed, the mayor says since they contradict each other, they may not remarry. Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon say since both agree that he is deceased, they may remarry. If one witness said he died and one witness said he did not die, or a woman said he died and a woman said he did not die, she may not remarry. If a woman went overseas with her husband and then he came and said, my husband died, she may remarry and collect a ketubah, but her co-wife is forbidden. If she was Yisrael's daughter married to a Kohen, she may eat truma. These are the words of Reb Tarfon. Reb Akiva says this is not the way to deliver her from sin. Rather, let her be forbidden from remarrying and forbidden from eating truma. If she said, "My husband died and then my father-in-law died," no, that's wrong. I'm sorry. If she said, "My husband died and then my father-in-law died," should be my father-in-law died. She may remarry and collect a ketubah, but her mother-in-law is forbidden. If she was Israel's daughter married to a Kohen, she may eat truma. These are the words of Reb Tarfon, and Reb Akiva says this is not the way to deliver her from sin. Rather, let her be forbidden from remarrying and forbidden from eating truma. If someone betrothed one of 5 women, but does not know which one he betrothed, and each one says, "I am the one he betrothed," he should give a bill of divorce to each one, leave the ketubah payment between them, and withdraw. These are the words of Reb Tarfon. Rabbi Akiva says this is not the way to deliver him from sin. Rather, let him give a bill of divorce and a ketubah payment to each one. If someone stole from one of 5 people, but did not know which one he stole from which one he stole, and each one says he stole from me, he should leave the stolen amount between them, withdraw, and these are the words of Reb Tarfon. Rabbi Akiva says this is not the way to deliver him from sin. Rather, let him pay the stolen amount to each one.
Okay.
That's
it. That's 3.
Okay, Shabbos. Okay, Yudal Gimel. We may not eat hyssop on Shabbos because it is not food for healthy people, but one may eat pennyroyal or drink not grass water. A person may eat any foods for healing, and he may drink any beverages except for the water of palm trees or the potion of roots. Because they are cures for jaundice. I'm sorry. Because
End of the sentence.
A person may eat any foods for healing, and he may drink any beverages except for the water of palm trees or potion of roots, because they are cures for jaundice. However, one may drink the water of palm trees to quench his thirst, and may anoint himself with root oil if it is not for healing. One whose teeth pain him may give One whose teeth pain him may not sip vinegar through them, but he may dip his bread in vinegar in his usual manner, and if he is thus cured, he is cured. One whose loins pain him, that he may not anoint himself with wine or vinegar. He may, however, anoint himself with oil, but not with rose oil. Princes may rub rose oil on their wounds, for such is the custom to anoint themselves on weekdays. Reb Shimon says all Israel are princes. One more. These are the knots for which we are liable. The camel driver's knot, the sailor's knot, and just as one is liable for tying them, so too one is liable for untying them. Reb Meir says any knot which one can untie with one hand, we are not liable for.
Taurus.
Vav Gimel. Regarding a tree which was standing in the public domain and an object of tumah was in it, if one climbed to the top of the tree and there is a doubt whether he touched the tamei object or did not touch it, the uncertainty is ruled tamei. If one inserted his hand into a hole that has an object of tumah in it, and there is a doubt whether he had touched the tamei object or did not touch it, the uncertainty is ruled tamei. Regarding a store which was tamei and open to a public domain, and there is a doubt whether one entered the store or did not enter it, the uncertainty is ruled tahor. If there is a doubt whether he touched it, a tamei item there, or did not touch it, the uncertainty is ruled tahor. Regarding 2 stores, one of which is tamei and one of which is tahor, and one entered one of them, and there is a doubt whether he went to the tamei one or the tahor one, the uncertainty is ruled tamei.
Okay, the difference between all these cases is Rishus HaRabim or Rishus HaYachid, and we said that the Safek Tumah Rishus HaRabim is tahor and Rishus HaYachid is tamei. This also all comes from the Sota, because we learned it out from the Sota, because she by definition was in the Rishus HaYachid, and she's in a Safek position, and we consider her tamei until she's proven tahor. Whereas in the Rishus HaRabim, we go the hakel that if there's a doubt if he touched the. So here we had a few sort of borderline cases where he's partially in the Rishus HaRabim and partially in the Rishus HaYachid. Which do we judge it by? And in each case, we see, like, for example, if we don't know if he went into the Rishus HaYachid or not, we just know that he was in the Rosh Hashanah, and the Safek is Tahor. But if we know he went to Rosh Hashanah, we just don't know which one. That's a Safek that happens in a Rosh Hashanah, and therefore it's Tameh.
Okay, I forgot it. Regarding two stores, one of which is Tummy, one of which is Tahor, and went into one of them, and there is doubt whether he went into the Tummy one or the Tahor one, the uncertainty is ruled Tummy. As many uncertainties and uncertainties of uncertainties that you can add in a private domain, the uncertainty is ruled Tummy. But in the public domain, the uncertainty is ruled Tahor. How so? If one entered an alleyway and there was an object of tumah in the courtyard, and there was a doubt whether he entered the courtyard or did not enter it, so there was an object of tumah in the house, and there is a doubt whether he entered the house or did not enter it. Even if he entered, there is a doubt whether the object of tumah was there or when it was not, or it was not there. And even if it was there, there is a doubt whether it consisted of a minimum measure for tumah, or it did not consist of the minimum measure. And even if it did consist of the minimum measure, there is doubt of whether it is an object of tumah or whether it is an object of tara. And even if it is an object of tumah, there is doubt whether he touched it or he did not touch it. The certainty is ruled tameh. Elazar says an uncertainty regarding entry is ruled tahor, and uncertainty regarding contact with tumah is ruled tameh. If one enters an area of open fields during the rainy system and there is tumah in the field, and he said, I went to that area, but I do not whether I entered that field or not, Elazar rules him tahor, but the Kekamen rule him tameh.
So this is a quick. That is the last of our three. I just wanted to look at that and say that this bikah in the Mosag Shamim. So the valley during the rainy season is considered a Rosh Hashanah for tumah, because it's rainy and it's all muddy and people don't go there. So that's why it's considered Chachamim consider this to be a Rosh Hashanah. So why does Rabbi Elazar say it's Tara? Because he said in the previous Mishnah that it's a Safek Biyah, and he's not sure if he went into it or not. So he's consistent with his previous Mishnah. Okay.
Menachos. From when is there known that one who says, I will take upon myself to bring a Todah offering must bring from that which is unconsecrated? Because it is stated, and you shall sacrifice a Pesach offering to Hashem your God from the flocks and cattle. But does not the Pesach offering come only from sheep or goats? If so, why does it say flocks and cattle? It is in order to compare all that comes from cattle and flocks to the Pesach offering. But just as the Pesach offering, which comes as an obligation, comes only from that which is unconsecrated, so anything which comes as an obligation may be brought only from that which is unconsecrated. Therefore, if one says, I take upon myself to bring a Todah offering, or I take upon myself to bring a Shlomin offering, since they come as an obligation, they make only come from that which is unconsecrated. However, libations in all cases come only from that which is uncircumcised. If all communal and individual offerings may come either from the land or of Israel or from outside the land, either the new crop or from the old, except for the Omer and the Shtei Alekim, which may come only from the new crop and from the land, all of them come only from choice produce. Which is choice? Mikmas and Mizonachai are the preferred areas of fine flour. The Pavarim in the valley is second to them, and all lands are valid, but they would bring from these. We do not bring either from a fertilized field or from an irrigated field or from a field of trees, but if one brought, it is valid. And how does one do it? How does one do it? He plows it over in the first year, and the second he plants it 70 days prior to Pesach, and it produces fine flour in abundance. How does one check it? The treasurer inserts his hand into it. If the dust comes up in it, it is unfit until he sifts it. If it becomes wormy, it's unfit. Okay.
That's us.
Terrific. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Hashem. I will see you tomorrow morning.
Yes, Hashem.
Have a great day.
You
Have a
too.
great day.
Bye.